Hi guys, so I was recently sent some new paints to try out and well, you may have heard of them. It's the new Army Paint Warpaints Fanatic range and here they are. But wait, no, let's find a miniature first to paint and then we'll get back to these. So hold your horses there guys and stick around and see well exactly how they perform. As you guys know, I love to 3D print things and one of the main places I go to get all my sort of files is Print Minis. They're over on My Mini Factory, there's a link down below guys. And they do a whole range of files for, well, miniatures, terrain, vehicles, tanks, creatures, you name it, they've got it. Very post-apocalyptic sort of style stuff, which is just awesome. And I've made many a kill team from their fabulous minis. As I'm going to be trying out the Warpaints Fanatic range, I'm going to do some cell shading. Something I've only done a few times before. So rather than do like a little miniature figure, I'm going to go for this lovely bad boy. It's a lovely Mad Max looking sort of style vehicle and yeah, I reckon this would do some cell shading really well on this. So as you can see, it comes with a whole variety of miniatures, and the thing I do love about Print Minis, everything they do very modular, so you can mix and match parts out, change things up and make things look exactly, well, how you want them to. And if you join Print Minis email list, you get a 35% discount on everything on their My Mini Factory store, which is just great. So don't forget, links down below. And if like me you also like D&D style sort of figures and terrain bits, then check out their sister site World Forge Miniatures, as yeah, they've got you covered on all your D&D style things, from miniatures, terrain parts. They also do full sort of builds on rooms and stuff. I've used them quite a few times and they're great for doing campaigns or just one shots, so yeah, go check them out as well guys. Their link would be down below as well. So let's crack on, get this little car printed and then yes, see how these paints perform. So I'm printing all the parts out on my Anycubic Photon Mono 5S Pro. As you can see, lovely little build size plate here. I can get everything on there and everything comes pre-supported, which I absolutely love. You can get the files unsupported, but yeah, I definitely prefer my files pre-supported because I know there's never ever going to be, well, any issues then. If you are new to 3D printers, especially resin ones, yeah, always wear gloves whenever you're handling this stuff. So until this has been sort of washed and fully cured, yeah, this stuff certainly isn't good for you. But as you can see, yeah, everything's come out perfectly, which is just awesome and, well, kind of expected. As I've never had any problems with the Print Minis sort of miniatures because, yeah, they are well and truly supported perfectly. So we just need to scrape these off and then stick them in the cleaning solution to, well, help get rid of all that messy resin that's kind of like still on the miniatures. So I've been using a 3D printer now for, well, nearly say about 3 years, and well, even I can still make mistakes. And the mistake I made was I left these in the cleaning solution overnight. I kind of put them in late, then forgot about them. Yeah, the cleaning solution, it's made the resin or parts of it go very well, rubbery, loose, and as you can see, completely disformed. Yeah, and this is because I left them in overnight. Normally I put them in of about a 10-minute sort of clean, but yeah, these probably had more of a sort of 8-hour clean. Yeah, so I'm going to reprint these bits because if I stick these now in the curing station, they will cure and go hard, but obviously not in the way they're meant to because yeah, these have gone all wibbly wobbly. So rewind, back to printing another set out, and yeah, again, obviously they printed out perfectly. So this time these are going to get washed in a 10-minute wash, then pulled out, and everything's going to get put into the curing station. So that'll firm everything up, make everything nice and hard. Who are madam? So yeah, lesson learned. Yeah, even been using things for say 3 years, you can still make the odd mistake here and there. Now everything's cured, I can touch it with my normal hands, no gloves needed. And yeah, say this is why I really do love Print Mini stuff, guys. They spend a lot of care and attention to detail to a lot of parts that sometimes, well, you're just not going to see. I did one of their big trucks in a video a good month or two ago, and yeah, the amount of detail in this truck, even for the underneath bits, that again you're never really going to see, but it does give you the options of then making something exactly how you want. And yeah, it's just great stuff. So simple bit of gluing, just putting a few bits together, doesn't take long. And while all that glue is drying, yeah, we can get on and show you the new paints that were sent. As mentioned, I do love receiving stuff and trying out new things. And I certainly was very excited to receive the new Fanatic range from Army Painter. And it comes with a little paint stand, which is awesome because, well, I do have a lot of paints and sometimes I do run out of room to actually sort of store them or show them off or, well, be able to use them. So this paint rack's easy to set up. It is just a case of pushing all the parts out, which is simple enough, and then everything just sort of slots into itself. But just to make sure things don't sort of pop out, I am going to be gluing all the bits together. You probably don't need to, but yeah, I kind of like to, even when I'm making the Warhammer figures that are sort of pushed together, I still kind of glue them just in case. So yeah, all the bits are popped out, and say, going to use a bit of super glue here. Obviously you probably use wood glue on this because it, well, is kind of a cheap wood or made up wood or MDF, or I haven't got a clue what I'm saying, so I'm going to stop talking on that bit. And yeah, say everything just slides into each other, which is nice and easy. So I just want to mention that Army Painter don't ever pay me to say anything on their behalf, but obviously they do send me a lot of free items. And like everything I use, yeah, whenever I use something, or whether I'm paid or not paid to sort of show it off, I'll always say exactly how I feel about yeah, whatever product it is. But yeah, Army Painter, Speed Paints, the Air range, and now obviously the Fanatic range, yeah, I love using all their paints. So yeah, it didn't take long at all to get this thing all together, and now obviously it's ready to accommodate all those lovely paints. So I was sent the Mega Paint range, which has 50 paints in it. They do obviously have the larger one, which has, is it 216? I'm not too sure. But yeah, they come in a range, obviously the bigger paint set anyway. Say you get the blue, there's like 6 of those variety of blues. And as you can see, they've got a little line here indicating which one these are in those 6. So when you're painting, you can start with the darkest, go to the lightest, or vice versa. So here's my little chap. Yeah, I've primed it in black. The last time I've done cell shading, I primed in white. The reason for priming in black is, well, I want to see just how well these paints can cover this little chap. So the main colour here I'm going to use is the demonic yellow. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how well this does cover, as generally yellows I've always found are pretty pants. So for the last couple of months I have been using these Army Painter Fanatic range. Not that I've been able to show you any of that footage, as well as say I've had to keep it a secret. I've been having these paints and, well, just to say, generally trying them out. And yeah, so far I found the coverage really good. But say this is the first time I'm using the very light colour on, well, a black primed miniature. All the other times I've been using the paints, I've kind of been using them on top of, well, the speed paints. So I've been doing slapshot painting and then a bit of highlighting using some of these paints. And yeah, it's certainly come out well. As always, I have given these paints a good old vigorous shaking before using them. And like all the other Army Painter paints, these do come with the little ball bearings in there, just to sort of help mix it all up. I must admit though, I would like to try one of those as an agitator, the things that sort of you put the bottle on and it gives it a good old shaking. Yeah, because sometimes I do feel or wonder just how much you should be shaking these. So yeah, trying one of those little bottle shakers could be a good idea. So the yellow, it's going on. Obviously this is quite a large vehicle or a large miniature, so I am having to sort of like spread the paint out. And the coverage, yeah, in general not too bad, but it does look like when it starts to sort of dry it is going to need a second coat. Again, this could be because I am putting it on and spreading out maybe too much, I'm not sure. So when you first put it on, yeah, it definitely coats it nicely, but yeah, now it's sort of dried, it's going to need a second coat for sure. And the second coat certainly does go on really well, and yeah, it's then a lovely yellow looking vehicle. So I will be trying the yellow out on like a normal sort of miniature figure, just to see how well that copes. I say maybe it is because this is quite a large vehicle, and yeah, I was kind of spreading the paint out a bit, that it did sort of look like, well, it needed 2 coats. As I say, I have used some of the other paints briefly on other little miniatures, and yeah, the coverage is definitely gorgeous. So like everything, it is a case of sort of trial, error, practice, and yeah, more sort of more painting miniatures to see exactly how it all comes out. So I'm only going to use a few colours on this. I had considered just leaving it all yellow and then doing the sort of like lighter yellow all over, but I kind of thought it might look a bit too, well, like a yellow banana. So the only other colour I am going to use on this is grey, and as you can see I'm going to paint the wheels grey, just because I've done sort of cell shading before and left things black, but then when you do something black, yeah, you kind of need to put a grey, I guess, over it. So with the cell shading or comic book style, I think this is the 4th time I've had to go doing this. Yeah, it is quite enjoyable. It's certainly different. It's not how I would paint sort of like loads of miniatures, because this is definitely a whole lot slower than doing the speed painting. And I know obviously painting, it's a hobby, so it's not really a case of the time involved. But yeah, for me, getting miniatures painted nice and quick, yeah, it's very enjoyable, especially when they come out to a standard that I am very happy with. And the slap chop speed painting definitely gives me that. But say every now and then I do like to sort of go out of my comfort zone, have a little play, and yeah, try something different. So with the comic book sort of style, it really is a case of, well, not blending your paints in. So as you can see, I've used the dark grey, now I'm going to use the light grey over the top. And yeah, there's no blending, feathering whatsoever. It is just a case of a complete contrast of one paint on top of the other. So one thing I have sort of struggled with when I do this is, where do I put the lighter areas? I've certainly watched a lot of other people do it, and yeah, it doesn't seem to sort of follow any sort of rules as such. It is just a case of getting some different areas on there, or different shaded areas on there. So it's not like you have to do like a light source as such, as it is just like a reflection of lighter colours and darker colours. And it definitely is a case of, well, just playing around, having fun, because that's the main thing with this hobby and the whole painting, is sort of enjoying what you're doing and definitely having fun, trying new things out. But one thing I always say, if you watch any of the videos where I do this cell shading, I say I'm sure this is only the 4th one I've ever done. I always say that when you're doing this, you do need to persevere and keep at it, because when you are painting these bits, sometimes it just doesn't look right or feel right. I always find it's not until you get to the very end stage where you get the black pen or black marker or black paint and you start going over all the lines. That's the only time that this starts looking like a comic book style cell shading that it should do. But prior to that, yeah, just keep persevering, adding the paints on. So one of the previous models I did do was another print minis model. It was a little robot, and funny enough, I think I did that yellow as well. Maybe, yeah, I just seem to like yellow, even though orange is my favourite colour. Yeah, I've done these both prior one in yellow. So yeah, go check that video out, guys. I'll try and dig out the link and put that somewhere for you. So now it's time to do the lighter yellow, and yeah, I've got this ice yellow, and again, same sort of thing. Just going to be putting some bits, well, here, there, wherever I think they should go, really. Again, just having fun with it. Don't forget to check out Print Mini's My Mini Factory page, especially again if you are into sort of Necromunda, as I've done quite a few tiles for them. Yeah, so they do some awesome, say, terrain pieces and just scatter terrain and all the rest. So with this thing, yeah, it's all done, and now it's just a case of going around black lining everything. But sometimes I find it easier to use felt tip pens, and that's what I'm going to use here. Well, I kind of use a combination of felt tip pens and a black paint with a brush, depending on the what I'm trying to achieve. Some things I can do with a pen, which is obviously these outer edges. Definitely I can do with a pen. Although one thing I should have really checked first was, does the pen work? And the answer is no, not really. Excuse the state of my hands, guys. You will see in a lot of videos, yeah, I have a whole variety of paint on my hands, not relating to what it is I'm actually painting. And the reason for that is, well, I generally have about 3 or 4 projects on the go at any one time. And the main reason for that is, well, I absolutely love this hobby. As much as I am doing this full time now on YouTube, this isn't a job for me in any sort of way, because, well, I love what I'm doing. I love painting, I love making things, I love playing games. So yeah, so generally I have a few projects on the go. So when one of them is drying, whether it's the painting or gluing, or even if I'm 3D printing something, yeah, I like to be, well, sort of playing and doing stuff all the time. So yeah, you will see every now and then my hands do look a state, and it's because I've just primed something in black, or I've painted something or other. So yeah, with this thing, it really is a case of going over every single line you can see. or join, or different parts of the miniature, yeah, everything gets a black line around it. Obviously, because you're trying to make it look like this thing is two-dimensional and has been sort of drawn. So it does take a while, and again, that's why I wouldn't do like a whole army or big board in this kind of style, because it's very time consuming. So one off here and there, yeah, it's lots of fun. But yeah, if you had a lot of grey plastic, I think doing this style, it would put you off even more. And yeah, your grey plastic would just stay grey plastic. Which is why I love slap chop painting, speed painting. Lives up to its name, gets the job done. Things are then ready on the tabletop and just look awesome. So when you do take a look at Print Mini's awesome range of miniatures, terrain and sort of vehicles and stuff, if there's anything there you want to see me paint, guys, yeah, by all means let me know, as I love printing out their stuff and painting it. And as I say, everything they've got is very modular, especially all the terrain parts, bits and pieces. You really can print bits out and put them together, well, however you want. As you can see, the last thing I need to do is just go around putting a few sort of hash lines here and there. Yeah, these are just sort of, again, meant to be sort of like shaded areas, darker areas, a bit more texture to everything. And again, there might be a sort of special way of doing this. Generally, I just go around and I put little lines here and there, wherever I think, well, it needs a little line or a hash mark or whatever it is. But yeah, lovely and simple, nice and fun, and this is when it does start to now look, well, two-dimensional. And there we go, one cartoon style, comic book, cell shaded Wastelands car. And yeah, I think it's cool. So this is definitely a fun way of painting. Yeah, because you can use strong, vibrant colours to make things really pop. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed making this. So don't forget, go check out Print Minis and World Forge Miniatures, as yeah, they have a ton of miniatures, terrain, vehicles, and all that great stuff that you're going to need for your tabletop gaming. So a big thank you as well to Army Painter for sending me the Fanatic range of paints, and so you will see me using these a whole lot more. So say the yellow, yeah, I reckon small miniatures it would cover definitely in one coat. The larger one, say, because I probably was sort of spreading it out a bit more, yeah, it needed 2 coats, but then looked perfect. So cheers to them. There is another video on the screen, guys. Go give that a click, see more of what I do. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that great stuff, as yeah, I would love to end this year on 100k subscribers, and I can only do that with your help. So okay guys, you'll take care, see you in the next one, bye for now.